All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another Journey into Real Estate interview. And today I have with me one of our newer agents, but just seasoned in life and has all kinds of amazing experiences. Tara Shim is here with us today. Tara, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so the way these always start, right, is we start from the beginning. So we want to know where you were born, where you grew up, kind of your experiences that led you into the next stages in life, and then we'll kind of take it from there. And I'll ask you questions along the way if you say something interesting or that we need to know more about. So where did it all start for you?
Well, I was born and raised here on the Big Island in Hawaii, and I in Kailo Kona, of course. I My mom raised me and my sister as a single parent from when I was about 6 years old, and times were always tough. It wasn't like amazing all the time. The one good thing is we had a close family, so it was really good, but money was tight. Things were always rough. It was always like, no, you can't have this. We had a lot of love in our family, but just not a lot of things. And I remember from my childhood that my mom had bought me this Monopoly game when I was really young. At 9 years old, I would play Monopoly with my best friend after school every day, and it was four greenhouses, one red hotel. That fake money, I felt so fulfilled. I was like, yes, this is the life right here. And it's funny now that I get to play Monopoly in real life, but it wasn't always like that. I think it stemmed from when I was younger. I played Monopoly when I went to high school. Um, I was able to. I didn't go to college, but I worked at Borders Books and Music, and from there, I read a lot of Robert Kiyosaki books, Rich Dad Poor Dad. They were always in the store, New York Times bestsellers. Cash Flow Quadrant, Why We Want You to Be Rich, all of these books. So I read a few of those books and I was intrigued with passive income. He talked about passive income and how, through real estate and business, you could get that passive income. And I just didn't know how. I graduated from Konawaina and I didn't go to college. So I just worked. And I just thought that the more I worked, the harder I worked, the more jobs I had, the more money I made. And I just found myself just stressed working two or three jobs. I eventually quit that job at Borders and worked at Hualalai Resort. So I did property management there. I worked at the coffee shop first there, and then I went into property management and I worked in the office. I would schedule all of these services for these homeowners, these luxury homes and villas. And I learned a lot there. I was there for about 13 years. And I was like, what do these rich people do? Why are they so rich? How come they have these $1 million homes that they never live in? They only come to vacation for a week at a time. But it was a good environment for me to see that side of the luxury, people that probably pay $10,000 a month for their mortgage or more, right? And I worked there for about 13 years. I had got to married. I had two daughters back to back, Tavia and Reina. And I found myself just working really hard and going through the mortgage meltdown. I remember I was
Mhm.
able to build my first home at 25 years old. So Hualalai Resort gave me some money for a down payment on a home, and I was able to build my first home in Waimea. That was the only place I could afford back then. And I worked really hard to pay off my debt, get that first home built, live there for a little bit. I turned my garage into a little studio, and then I moved back home to Kona. I rented out the 3 bedroom, 2 bath part and the studio, and I thought I was balling. And then the market crashed, and then I was upside down, and I was like, "What do I do? Oh no!" So I had to during that time in 2013, actually, I got divorced and I was left with two homes because I built my second home after the first home. And I had two homes, two girls, and I was by myself and thinking, how am I going to do this? This is crazy. But I actually got introduced to a company called 101 Financial, and they taught me how to manage my money with budgeting, and I started teaching with them. So I became a financial coach with them in 2008 in November. So next month will be 13 years that I've been teaching with them. So that was huge for me. I was able to pay down a lot of my debt. When I started, I had $420,000 worth of debt on my shoulders. And that was a lot of debt. I was
Wow.
Well, and I'm going through a divorce. I have 2 kids, and it was tough. So I
So
called.
how'd you get introduced to one-on-one financial? Where did you come across that? Did you have a friend? Like what? I mean, it seems like a big tipping point in life. That's why how'd that come about?
Sure. One of my friends called me and she heard about it. So she actually wrote a letter to me and she said, "Hey, Tara, I wanted to let you know about this new venture that I'm doing. I teach people how to pay off their debts quicker." So I jumped on a call with her and she told me, "Tara, what if I could teach you how to pay off your mortgage in a shorter amount of time?" And for me, I was like, absolutely, I want to know because 30 years is a long time. So I went to her house. She did a presentation for me. And the presentation that I saw, there were a few different slides in that presentation that made me question what I was doing with my money and where my money was sitting at night and why it was sitting there. And in my mind, I was like, nobody taught me different. And I realized that these people know something different. So I decided to take that leap of faith and join and enroll in the class. And I got educated, and just a little bit of education went a long way. And for me, I feel like that was my college education because I didn't get a chance to go to college. And I feel like money is something we need to use every single day, right? But we never get taught in school or at home, anywhere, how it works, why it works the way it does. We are just taught to work really hard, put your money in your checking and savings, save for retirement, and pray you make it big. And I just realized that I worked 3 jobs sometimes. I never saw my kids, and it was crazy that I worked so much and was never getting ahead. So once I took this education, it was a game changer for me. Within the first year, I paid off, I think it was $60,000 in debt in the first year. And I was like, how did this happen? This is crazy. And so I took that education and I started telling my family. I was like, sister, you need to check this out. And she did. She jumped on with me and she took the course and she started doing good. My mom, I was like, Mom, you got to do this. She's like, nope, we're good. We're totally fine. And she didn't do it. And a year later, she lost her job during the downturn of the economy. And then she called me, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to listen now. So I've helped many, many families throughout the 13 years that I've been doing one-on-one financial. That's super.
So how long before you start the program and you go through it till you become an instructor in the program?
It's up to, there's a lot of different factors. So not everybody can be an instructor. They usually hire on their best students to become an
Yeah.
instructor. And so it's not like a job opportunity where you enroll and then right off the bat you can become an instructor. You have to understand it. You have to be doing well yourself. You have to be recommended by somebody who, taught you. So there's a
Mhm.
process for that. And I have always been in tune with money. I think from the Monopoly days with that paper money. I always was infatuated with the money because we didn't really have much back then.
Mhm.
So I was super, always focused on how can I make more money? What can I do? And yeah, so I did that. I still currently teach with One Financial right now. And that's been huge because it helped me to be able to buy more homes and pay them off quicker. So that's a huge thing. Um,
You
I
were
left.
you were doing real estate and involved in real estate long before being a realtor, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it's because of reading those books on passive income because I wanted to know, how do I get there? How do I make my money work for me?
So
Where
let's talk about what is passive income.
passive income is making money while you sleep, basically. It's passive, right? You're not working for money. You don't have to clock in and clock out. Passive
Mhm.
income is collecting rents, right? Or a business, having a business. And that's what I learned in that book. It was all about having your passive income or setting up these things like a rental. And that's why in my mind, people thought I was crazy. I built my brand new home. I lived in there for a year and I moved back to my grandma's house in this old coffee land shack. My family, right? I was married and I had a brand new daughter, and we lived in small little tiny coffee land shack because my vision was, if I can rent this out. And in the beginning, we were making cash flow on it. It's just the economy turned. And what happened was I was able to leverage that house. I took out a whole bunch of money from there. I built the second house that I live in now, still till today, and I bought 3 acres with my best friend, 3 acres of raw land. So I leveraged that house, right? And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. There's nobody that would ever give me $300,000, And I took that out of my house, and then the market crashed, and so now I'm upside down. I get divorced. I have 2 homes. I have 2 girls, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? So I had to do a short sale on that one home. And that was my biggest win and my biggest loss. And I say that because my family, my friends, they all helped me build that house. That was major sweat equity. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have done it without the village that helped me, my uncles, my parents, my friends, my everybody helped. And it was so sad for me to do a short sale on that house because I didn't know what the options were. I didn't know back then that had I just restructured my loan, had I kept it, had I just, you know, I was upside down. I was paying $1,000 on top of the rent that they were giving me. And then I was paying for my home. And I was like, how do I do this? I can't do it all. So I had to cut my losses. And that's why it was my biggest win, my biggest loss. But I was super grateful because I already had a home that I lived in and I had the 3 acres. A lot of people during that time, during the mortgage meltdown, lost their home. You know, they didn't have another home to
Mm-hmm.
go to. And then I was able to build my third home. I actually quit my job at Hualalai Resort after 13 years. I went and worked for a lumber company, a local lumber company here, and I worked there for 3 years. I was the inside sales um, package coordinator with them. So I would sell homes to first time home buyers, the people that never went through the process before, just wanted a simple home. And I worked with them. I worked with contractors selling lumber all day long. It was a great experience because I had no clue the difference between a stud and a joist and a beam and all these different things. So I learned really quickly, and that's where I met my boyfriend now at Hansador. So I'm super grateful that I worked there for 3 years, but it was stressful. It was super stressful. So in that time, my friend and I had partnered up and we built a home together. So we took two different packages, we merged them together, two different styles of homes, and we built a home in Palisades and we sold that for a profit. And I was like, yes, okay, let's do this. That was my third property. Our fourth property, my boyfriend was like, hey, I want to buy a house. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. This is what you need to do. Get into position. We had to sacrifice some things. We had to sell our truck, a Forerunner, you know, all these nice things that we had, but it was for good reason, for that passive income. So we bought his house, he bought his house, and that is a huge passive income maker for us right now. And then I was able to find a foreclosure shortly after that. Super old house in an older neighborhood, a really small neighborhood. And we did a burr. We bought that, we rehabbed it, we rented it out, and then we refinanced that property. And we make a lot of cash flow on that. Um,
So
I
this
re-
is I want to go back here. So if everybody, really make the point that um people look at people who have seen success and they think that they were always that way, right? I think it's so important that you share about the short sale and the struggles and the mistakes and the lessons learned, right? And so I think that's such a cool story that, like, you also didn't give up, right? It's a story about perseverance where that could have been like, sometimes a bad thing like that happens and people just they just say they get burned one time and they give up. They lose the faith. And they said, "I'm not doing that anymore. That was such a bad experience." But you didn't let that stop you, right? And that's what I love about this whole story is that that was almost like motivation to keep going, right?
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's why I share about that short sale, because that was such a hard time in my life, that going through a divorce, doing a short sale shortly after, my whole world was upside down in turmoil. But I luckily I had that education through 101 Financial, and I just kept educating more people and more people. And I was hanging around people that were leveling up, that were buying more properties, that were starting their own business, they were just doing so much more. And that was my motivation to keep going, because we aren't taught about finances. We aren't taught how to buy a house, or how to recoup after you let go of that house and your credit score tanks. My credit
Mhm.
score went down 100 points, and that was tragic. From seven
Mhm.
something down to six something, and knowing that I couldn't buy anything for a long time. I had to kind of be creative. So I made my boyfriend buy the next house. I'm like, okay, that's your house. You want that? That's great. And then the little foreclosure home that we bought, that was just private money. That was me calling up a lot of my friends and family and saying, hey, do you guys want to invest? I'm going to pay you this X amount, and we're going to rehab this house. We're going to rent it out. And I got all their money back and paid them 10% interest. And that's way better than what they would have made in their savings. And so it helped me, it helped them. It was amazing. But yes, we had to sacrifice so much. My boyfriend bought me a nice lifted white Forerunner with rims, tires, everything. And I've never had a brand new car in my life. So sacrificing something like that to buy this little home, because my vision was, right now we can just struggle and keep paying this Forerunner payment, the full coverage insurance, the gas, or we buy this tiny home, or it's a smaller home, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home, and eventually the passive income from that, they could pay our Forerunner every month, right? So that was
Absolutely.
the vision and the goal. So yes, the sacrifices, the blood, sweat, and tears for us to go there and have all of our family again help us rehab the home. I was down there laying flooring, sticky tile flooring, whatever. It was just, it's fun, it's challenging, it's exciting, just like being a realtor, and I think that's why I chose this path, was because
So
I
why so
already.
so before we get into that, so what at what stage you say, okay, so now it's time I need to get my real estate license and take the next step and go to the next level in this whole industry and game?
I think because after we got, like, I did five, six, seven, eight properties, right? So far, I've sold 2 of them, but I realized, I was thinking about it in the long run. What if I want to sell my homes? And I started doing some quick calculations, and I was like, dang, I'm going to leave a lot of money on the table when I start.
6%,
Yeah,
6%.
when I start to sell my homes, that's a lot of money. And because naturally, I love real estate anyway, real estate investing, anything real estate. I just thought that I thought about it and I was like, okay, first of all, that's a lot of money I'm leaving on the table. Second of all, the most important thing that I love is just helping families, right? I've been doing
Mhm,
that for 13 years. And the number one goal for any family I talk to, any individual, is that they want to buy a home, right? Or their
mhm,
second home or an investment property. And it breaks my heart that they have no clue, right? They have no clue where to even start. So first and foremost, let's get your finances together. Then we can look at something big like a home. That's the
mhm.
biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life. So that to me is why it aligns so much. I just realized that, you know what, I've helped so many families and now they're all ready to buy homes. The people who I'm helping right now with their home purchase and they're selling their home, they are my people from, the 101 financial group. And I feel like that's the next step. They already trust me. They already know, like, I know their finances, I know their whole story, I know their life.
Mhm.
So why not help them with that next step in their life to level up to buy a home? So it was that. And for sure I wanted to know more because, I always just did my own flips and things on the side, but I wanted to just get into the game because the real estate market was super hot and I just needed a shift in what I was doing. I'm so comfortable in. I've been doing it for 13 years. I just needed something more, a little bit more challenging and different, where this is all new to me on this end of it. Being a realtor is exciting because it's new, it's challenging, it's fulfilling, it's all the things that I needed to level up in my own life. Right. So
So you
that's
start that process, you go to school, right? You get licensed. Then I always ask the question, how much times did it take? Tell me about going to school and getting licensed. How much time did you have to take the test?
So I took the course in 2020. During the pandemic, I was home, and it was boring. And I was like, you know what? I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw an ad for the class, the real estate class, and it was half off. And I was like, ooh, that's a good deal. So I paid for the course. It was a 3-week session on Zoom, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays. So I made it work 3 weeks. I just did it in November. And then shortly after, the first week of December, I took my license, the class, or the test, I'm sorry. um, and I passed. I passed that day that I took the test. I was so shocked, but I crammed for it. I legit was trying to memorize everything that I could, and I just was super focused. And the last words I heard from my boyfriend before I went to take the test was, "If you want it bad enough, you'll do it." And I was
Mhm.
like, I want this bad enough. Like, I need to do this. So I went, I took the state and national test that day. And when you're done, it says, passed or whatever. And I was like, did I pass? Like, am I done? Is this it? And so, of course, the guy prints out your paper and he's like, "Congratulations, you passed." I was like, "For real? Like both state and national?" Because all my friends are like, "You're going to have to take it a few times. It's super hard." I took it three, four, 5 times. And so I was mentally preparing to fly to Oahu because they test daily. And I
Hmm.
thought, if I don't pass this test this day, I'm going to fly to Oahu tomorrow. I'm going to stay there until I pass and take it every day until I pass. I was just super determined and I passed it and I was in shock. I said, "No way. Can you check again? Are you sure? Like, is this for real?" And he's like, "You passed. Like, go. You're out of here." And I was like, "Yay, I can be a realtor. I'm so excited."
So that's just the beginning. At that point, had you given any thought into like where to hang your license at and where to which brokerage to join?
Not at all. I was just
Okay.
excited that I did it. And so I waited for at least 3 months because I was in December, the beginning of December. I started asking around, like maybe in January, February. I was thinking, I better do something with this license because I need to hang it somewhere and I don't even know where to go. So I went and I made appointments with a couple different brokerages and I went and met with them. And of course, when I was studying for my test, I would go to Pink Mocha to the coffee shop here in town, and I would always see my friend Wendy and Misty, and they were like, "Oh, hey, are you gonna come over and join our team?" And I was like, "Yes, for sure, I will one day for sure. I just gotta go and check out other places and see where's the right fit for me." And so I already kind of knew. I was like, "Man, those are my peeps. They're local. I love them. They know me. You know, Misty prays with me. I'm like, says pray for me. If it's meant to be, it'll be." And Wendy was always like, "Oh, you guys are doing your test for a real estate license? Come join our team." And so of course I already had a couple of people that were reaching out saying, "Hey, come join the team." But I didn't know. I wasn't sure. So I said, "You know what? Let me go and find out," because I had other friends that were at other brokerages. And I went and I interviewed a few different people and I was like, "You know what? This brokerage is not my people." Nothing against them, but I just felt like they were super high strung, high, like, "I'm from the mainland. I do this is what I do in production." And I'm just like, I'm getting older. I don't want to have to like put in all this time. I want to hang out with my kids. I want to take vacations. I want to do a lot more. So that wasn't the right fit. I went to another brokerage and the way that their compensation plan was, I was like, "Wait, what do you mean you just split forever? Like 80/20 forever? That's it? Okay. Good to know. You have all these fees." And then I sat with you. And when I sat with you and you said, "Where do you want to start?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Tell me everything." And you're like, "Well, what do you want to know first?" And then I was like, "Hey, tell me the breakdown. Just tell me the breakdown of how you get paid because I'm a numbers girl. And if I see the numbers and it makes sense to me, everything else I can learn. I'm not worried about that." And when you broke it down to me on all the different ways that we get paid at EXP, I was like, "Whoa, this is a no-brainer. What I don't even need to see any other brokerages. This is a crazy no-brainer right here." So, and because you guys are local, you guys are super friendly. Everybody's amazing at this team. I feel like real estate in general is typically kind of like a crazy thing where you're in, you're out, you make all your money, you do all these crazy things. Where at our agency here, the agency Team Hawaii, it's so crazy how much people are just like a huge family, all Ohana. Everybody cares for everybody. Like as soon as I started, everybody just took me under their wing and was like, "Hey, let's go to Hilo. Hey, you want to come with me to an inspection?" I learned so much from the team by just being in this office, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So
And an important one I'm sure for you was you're never going to hear the word passive income in a real estate discussion in terms of the brokerage agent relationship unless you're talking to EXP, right? I mean that's not even a thing in most. It doesn't even exist, the opportunity for passive income. So
big time. That was a huge one.
yeah.
Definitely that. And that's why I was blown away because I didn't even realize that we could do that. When you mentioned that, I was like, "Okay, wait, what? Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" Because my sister is gonna, be a realtor with me. So is my
Hmm.
friend. All of my friends want to do this. So for me to be able to teach them and they can create their own passive income through real estate and being a realtor, that's super huge because you're creating so much more than just, buying and selling for other people. That's super fulfilling. But when you can change somebody's life like that and create that passive income, true passive income, that changes the game. And that's why I love real estate so much, is because it's that tangible asset that produces that passive income, that I don't really have to work that hard anymore. Once we get these checks coming in the mail, 3, 4, 5 homes that are all making passive income for us, imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years, 15, 20 years, by the
Mhm.
time we are retired, on that end, let alone what we're building here at EXP. I mean, unbelievable. It's just such a no-brainer. And I'm super blessed to be able to be a part of this team because it's just been amazing from the very get-go.
Well, your mindset and your spirit and your just who you are is a perfect fit for, and that's the only reason I think we do well and we have the culture that we have is we have the right people, right? Because at the end of the day, that's who makes up a team and an organization. And so yeah, super, super stoked. So how has your first few months been in terms of real estate? And and you made a couple of sales and you've learned a ton, and let's just talk about that. I mean, what has your experience been like?
I am so pumped to be able to take this journey for myself as a newer agent, but just helping a family get them out of, they have to sell their home, they're no longer, they don't want anything to do with it anymore, and to help the family that was renting stay in the home after it was bought, and to go through this whole, I mean, it takes a village just to get you from point A to Z with this transaction. But the people are amazing. We deal with so many amazing lenders, escrow officers, inspectors, and that just adds to your network, right? Your network,
Hmm.
which adds to your net worth, because all of these people help with the common goal, right? Of getting the seller to the buyer and having this transaction, get it to the end. It's super fulfilling and it's so exciting to see this process. I love it because, like I said, I never really knew what it would be like being a realtor, but it's actually fun. It can be super stressful. I see how it can be super stressful, but if you have that mindset of, you know what, I'm solving problems. So what's the problem? How do I fix it? How can I help you? It's not that bad. And my first couple of transactions have been so amazing, smooth, wonderful. And my third one that I have in escrow right now is moving right along really nicely. It's just, it's, to me, it seems easy. And I think it's because I had that background of already helping families and already like figuring out how can I help you? How can we get you through, this hard situation? And selling a home is the same way because a lot of people don't understand the process. It is such a huge process, the biggest investment you'll ever make. And you need somebody that you can call on that's knowledgeable. That I thank God that I went through a couple of, new construction builds. I bought a property in the mainland, I have an Airbnb, I have all these little things that had helped me because there's challenges with all of them. It's not always great,
You
but
you
with
said you said the key term, right? Is that, and especially for somebody who's thinking about getting into the business or not, is apprehensive because they don't know if they have the skill set, right? There's no experience required, but the skill set that's required is the skill set to want to solve problems, right? And figure out a plan, overcome issues, implement solutions. Like that's the stuff that you came with that is going to make this a very easy transition for you. Is it's just a different world. There's some stuff to learn, but if your mindset is, what do I got to do to fix this issue, solve this problem, come up with a plan to make it happen, you'll be fine. And you've already proven that.
I love that. I love it. It's so, and it's easy. I feel like this is what I got to do. I got this. Of course, I've only done a couple of transactions so far, but because we have such a great team, I'm not even worried about it at all. I know I can call any one of you guys anytime. You guys are always there to help us. As a new agent, I'm like, hey, I just need reassurance on this. Hey, tell me if this is correct. And for the most part, it is. I just want to make sure. And just having that support is huge, huge, huge. And same thing with the people that are buying and selling. I think they just need to know, like, so why am I signing this? What is this for? What does this mean? And to have somebody walk you through it and ease your mind, knowing, hey, this is not nothing big, or hey, yes, we need to watch out for this. Let's go and do it together. I'll be there with you. It's amazing. It's just such a great feeling to help families, to be in a great environment like this. I'm super, super grateful and blessed. And thank you to you and the team and for all of your systems that you have in place. You have an amazing vision for the team with the agency, Team Hawaii and EXP Realty. And I think that that's what I needed, is something big, huge, that I could latch onto to be like, that's where I want to be too. I just needed that push. I needed um, that vehicle to take me there. And here at EXP, I totally see it. I see the vision. I see how it's all about the people, but hands down performing at your highest level. I mean, it's amazing. And no matter how fast or slow or whatever you want to go, because real estate, you make hours, you make your own, your own time. And I like that. I like that I can still hang out with my kids. I can still live a good life. And my kids are 12 and 13. And right now they're like, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a realtor. I'm like, yes, that's a great career choice. Like, you should
Love
be
it.
a realtor. So it's good because they get to see, how happy I am and how blessed, that I get to work and do something I love. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's not even work sometimes.
That's a beautiful way to wrap it up. How do people get a hold of you if they want to reach out and get more information?
You can call me on my cell phone, 808-989-0229. I'm on Instagram at Tara Hawaii Real Estate, Facebook, Tara Shim, definitely social media, or you can email me at tara@tarahawaiirealestate.com.
And don't miss her live every Friday at 10:30 talking about real estate with me. Super fun. We just got done doing that today. So
Yeah.
hey, and so my last final thought here, right, is my saying for the week. I talked about this at the team meeting is the worst thing you can be is a level 10 player in a level 5 opportunity, right? And you are definitely a level 10 player and you're in a level 10 opportunity and you're going to do big things. I'm super excited and blessed to have you on the team.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you, Jesus, for this blessed life that we get to live. So I'm super excited for what's to come. And thank you to you and the team. I couldn't have done any of this without you guys. So thank you.
You are welcome. We're blessed to have you. Have an awesome weekend.
Okay, you too. Aloha.
Right on.